Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Mainstream Mondays on Horror Film Lovers. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I've got my co-host here, John Ward. How you doing, John?
I'm good. I'm happy to be back for the last one.
Well, the last one before we do the ranking. And this is the last of the Scream movies. And
I see.
remember, we're planning on doing more than that later. So this
That's
isn't
true.
the last. This isn't the last. But
That's
this
right.
is the last
I
of
stand corrected.
well, geez, you admit when you're right. Wow, who are you?
I am that type of person. I always admit when I'm wrong. Always, because I'm wrong constantly.
No, when you're wrong.
I always tell people when
right.
I'm wrong.
Oh my goodness, I'm tired. We just
I'll admit when I'm right too. But I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong because, as I've said before, I'm either a genius or a total idiot, and I tend to go to the total idiot side. So, yeah, I constantly
do. I
think
people
people are
sometimes
surprised with that, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't come off as somebody who's a know-it-all.
Yeah, but sometimes, especially when it's about something that you like, like this,
Sure.
you're passionate about these movies, you're going to have your opinions, and we're going to have different opinions of Scream 2022 or Scream 5, as whatever one you want to call it. I'm going to call it Scream 5 because I just don't like calling it just Scream, but they make a reference to that,
Yeah, I thought you liked that. I thought that changed your whole perspective on the Scream versus Scream 5.
Well, I got it the second time. The first time, I don't remember them ever saying that, because the first time you watch a movie, honestly, sometimes you just don't, there's just so much going on. You just don't remember things, or whatever. So I just don't remember them saying. Then I rewatched it and I was like, okay. I'm okay with them calling it that. I still would rather it be called Scream 5, because it is Scream 5. It's not a requel because it's, as it's stated, it is. We might get in some trouble with saying that it's not a requel because, or whatever. It's a fucking sequel. Like, it is not a remake or reboot. It tries to follow the same pattern that Halloween 2018 does.
All of them these days.
Wrong Turn 2020 or whatever, 2021, whatever.
Well, Wrong Turn had a subtitle though.
No, it didn't.
It did.
No, it didn't.
This does.
No, not the newest Wrong Turn movie. No, it didn't.
Yeah.
Go look.
It does.
Look it up. Show it to me.
I own it. I can actually go grab it right now.
Yeah, go grab it.
I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna grab it. It's right here.
I'm gonna prove you wrong. I'll prove you guys right. That is called Wrong Turn, baby. That is just called Wrong Turn. It is not called Wrong Turn anything else. There is no. And if he's talking about another wrong turn, then he is wrong.
No, the box. Okay, so it is called Wrong Turn. But I'm going to say this. I'm going to look on my phone. It does have it. It's called The Foundation.
No,
Wrong Turn. The Foundation.
Turn. That's the poster. Poster for it. Wrong Turn. No fucking Foundation. I don't see that at all. Yeah, and you know what? I'm proving you right. Or I'm proving you wrong, but I'm proving me right because no. Unless they changed it for the box cover for the DVD. But when I watched it online, it was called just Wrong Turn. Yeah, Wrong Turn 2020.
Wrong Turn, the Foundation trailer.
Well, that's not what they called it when they put it out.
Is the Wrong Turn Foundation real?
Everything
this is Wikipedia.
Says Wrong Turn.
This is Wrong Turn, originally known as Wrong Turn, the Foundation.
Originally known as that. It is not. It got changed to just Wrong Turn. So maybe it was originally called that, but all the box art and all the posters and everything when they actually put it out was called Wrong Turn. So
I'm going to give you half of that.
So you're going to say I was right for half, but
Half.
That and I might
Yeah,
agree with you
because I've seen posters that say
yeah,
wrong turn
but that was
foundation.
before it actually came out, so it doesn't count.
But it's
Was there everything can be called something else before it actually comes out. Once it comes out, and once
so using that you can't call Scream 5.
no, I
Because
can't.
Scream 5 was never its title. You have to call it Scream 2022 or
But
just
see,
Scream.
Because Wrong Turn was a complete reboot. It doesn't. It's completely different. Scream was a sequel. This Wrong Turn was not a sequel. It was not even the same universe because they actually mention the Wrong Turn movies in the new Wrong Turn. They actually mention it.
I don't remember them mentioning.
Yes,
I don't remember that at all.
Okay, yep. Because there's a line in it where they say, "We're gonna go watch a movie. Oh, let's not watch another Cannibal in the Mountains movie, or whatever." That was a reference to Wrong Turn. They were completely throwing
right. I mean, right. We get there's the joke there without saying Wrong Turn.
It is literally saying it's in another universe. It's in saying that.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying is that they're not saying Wrong Turn, but it's meant to be Wrong Turn. That it is, yes, it's a completely different movie than the other.
It's a completely different movie, and it's a reboot. That is a reboot. Halloween and Scream is a sequel. Is not a requel or whatever, because there's no, it's not at all rebooting anything. It's just a continuation, from it. So I don't think of it as anything but a sequel.
I don't. It annoyed me at first, but I don't have an issue with it just being called Scream because this is not Wes Craven's Scream. Right. So it's different people with some legacy cast members coming back, and in a way, it is a sequel reboot to a whole new trilogy or franchise.
Where was the reboot at? Because now we're talking. Oh, I guess the reboot would be talking about the girl who we never met before. Now she's supposed to come take over the character or whatever the character. She's the new Sydney.
Well, yeah, the blank piece of wood. That
I liked her.
Sam
I don't know. I dug Sam.
I'm sorry. I normally don't bag on people for their looks, but she looks like one of those goldfish that have those giant eyes that pop out. And she just annoyed the shit out of me while watching the whole movie. And she's not a good actress.
I thought she was a great actress.
Oh no, the girl who plays her sister, the younger sister, she's good. Well, she was solid through the whole movie. But Sam, was not. She just had like a blank stare on her face the whole time.
When I first saw it, I was like, "Wait, I know that girl from the sister from somewhere." And then I was like, "Oh fuck, she was in You, the TV show You."
Me?
Yeah, she was in You.
Me?
Yeah, You.
I better go to a doctor and get her out.
Yeah, probably. But she was in the Netflix show You, which was originally a Lifetime show. That Lifetime, it bombed in Lifetime, but did very well in Netflix. Kind of like Cobra Kai, didn't do well in YouTube, but apparently did very well in Netflix, or whatever. That's my take. But yeah, so what is it? So she was on You, and I thought she was great. I thought she was fantastic. I like Sam. I don't know. I watched it a second time, and I still dug her. I don't know. She was strong and tough. I love the scene where she's saying that she was, wasting time while she was chatting with them on the phone. You could tell she was whatever, not, I can't decide. Oh, maybe, oh, wait, maybe I'm like, I thought she was good. I liked her. I don't know. I didn't think she had a blank
I did not.
stare.
She is not the new Sydney. Well, it's that simple. Nev Campbell is a good actress. She's attractive. She has presence. We've now been with her for 5 films, and even in her very first film, even in the first Scream, there was something about her playing Sydney that I don't think anybody else could have played. Oh. Anybody could have been Sam. Anybody. And this actress is a piece of wood. She's a 2x4. That's she's not a good actress. She's just not.
And I think a lot of it a lot of her character or whatever was set up to make you think that she is the killer, you know. So maybe some of that things of what you think her Wood style acting, maybe a lot of that was set up so that you think she's the fucking killer at the end.
No, because we did talk about with part 4, Jill, on how cold she is, and that the possibility of her being fake, which she like without Signey or something like that. And Emma Roberts is a really good actress. And she pulled it off very well. I don't know. I just think that they chose the wrong actress for this role. She's just.
I disagree. I like.
I don't care if she comes back in the next one. Yeah, I mean, her sister was the younger sister, the actress who played her, 100%. When at the very beginning of the film, which I loved, with the doors being locked and unlocked, using the phones, I thought was great. She was on par with the first Scream with Drew Barrymore.
Right.
So it's and you need that. So it's a good thing that she's a strong actress.
And then she survived. And then so she survived that. And then unlike Drew Barrymore, who didn't survive it, and you probably, when you first saw it, you probably thought she was dead, right? Because they set it up where it looked like she was going to die. But she wasn't dead because they needed her sister to come out. They needed a reason for her sister to come out. And it was so funny because a Scream 1 was set, like half the movie was set in the hospital, right? Very much, or almost half the movie was set in the hospital, where Halloween fucking Kills was set in the hospital. Maybe that's another reason you didn't like it. I don't know, because you don't like Halloween Kills. And that's a whole different story.
Wait, you mean part 5?
Yeah, part 5 has half of the movie is set in the fucking hospital.
I don't mind that. I mean, I like Halloween 2, John Carpenter, Halloween 2, and that's all in a hospital.
And maybe that's what they were going with Halloween Kills, with
And I even liked Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I actually like that better than the first one, and then that takes the first half hours in a hospital. So, no, I thought this, when I heard who was making it, I was excited. And I thought, and I saw the trailers, and I brought this up to you and other people, is I think the trailer is false advertising. And that really pissed me off. I think
there's one trailer that was false advertising, right?
One, I mean, I'd have to look at the other trailers, but I'm going to guess that's at least one or two of these shots are in the other ones too. But having, showing a metallic Scream mask or Ghostface mask, and having Ghostface have a flamethrower, I thought was amazing. I'm just like, oh my God, I can't wait to see this. He's got like the shirt that's cut off. I'm like, it looks like they're in a school. There's like the lockers and stuff. I'm like, this is going to be great. And then there's another shot of Ghostface going like this, and it's the silhouette up against the wall outside. None of this that was not in the film. And then the stuff of the flamethrower is just in the Scream 8 like teaser trailer that we see from a distance. To me, that is absolutely false advertising.
Right.
And that really pissed me off. And then it just went right back to the stuff we've seen 4 other times.
I'm so glad I didn't watch the trailers, so I didn't get pissed off.
So that made me mad when I was watching the movie in the theater. But, and we could debate about this, and this, I hate everything with Billy Loomis. It is pointless. It is stupid. It serves no point. The CGI that they did with Skeet was awful. It looked bad. And I'm not buying this whole thing of, was the CGI done bad on purpose? No, it just looked like shit.
Yeah, I think it was just bad. But I dug it but I like the character. I like Sam. I think had Sam been a different, been played by a different actor, maybe you might have thought differently,
No.
I think so.
No, because one, the only way that she could know about Billy is maybe from a yearbook he's dead. He didn't have a mugshot. So maybe from a yearbook, she would know. She would never know what his voice sounds like. And I've mentioned this before too, that the only true reference that she would have to Billy Loomis is Luke Wilson playing him in Stab. So she would know him more as a doofy guy who hits his head. She would have no idea what he would look like with blood all over him. She would have no idea what his voice sounds like.
Nope, that's bullshit on that. Because if she did rewatch Stab, she saw Luke Wilson get stabbed and killed or whatever. Like, you know.
So so Billy would look like Luke Wilson.
Maybe, but here's the thing. My thing is, if she were to actually find out that who her father was, there would be stuff in the news about him. There would be pictures. And that's the thing. So she would have the pictures of what he looked like in the newspapers.
Of what? From what?
Of his death. Of what this whole thing that started, that actually wrote this, the Woodsboro murder.
They might have family pictures.
No,
they might
I'm
have
not even
something
talking about
from.
That. I'm talking,
but they wouldn't have pictures from what, crime scene photos? He would have like something like a blanket over his body.
Yeah, but they might have something. But I'm not saying that they would have bloody pictures of him. I'm saying that they would have pictures.
It's
of
just
him.
bad. It's just bad writing.
I don't
That's
think
all
it's
it
bad
is.
writing at all. I think it's
bad writing. Okay, take Billy Loomis, remove him from Scream 5. Does this change her character at all?
Yes.
How?
Yes, at the end of the movie,
How?
she gets stronger enough to actually attack the dude and finally kill him because she knows,
So she needs a strong male, and I hate to be woke on this or whatever. So she needs a strong male in her life to make her discover that she's stronger than what she is, unlike Sydney, who didn't need any of that in 4 movies.
It wasn't strong. Oh God, you're twisting the words and making it sound like it's like
no, because
whatever.
It's bad writing. That's all it is. They wanted to get more legacy people. For some reason, they told us it was going to be Stu, and it wasn't. And they brought Billy back, and it doesn't make any sense about this at all. And all they're doing is stealing from Rob Zombie's Halloween.
What do you mean? Like
when Laurie finds out that she's related to Michael Myers, and she freaks out about it. Okay. So now we have, and then of course John Carpenter stuff with Laurie being related to Michael. It's just it's like Tarantino with Inglourious Bastards. If you took out the Inglourious Bastards and they weren't in the movie at all, the exact same thing would have happened. That's why Inglourious Bastards is poorly written. It has great scenes and good scenes of dialogue. But the theater at the end still would have been chained up. The fire still would have happened. Hitler still would have died. There would have the bastards did nothing to make that happen. And this is the same thing. There was no reason to have Billy as a character in this. There's none. Who cares? Why does that matter?
Okay, then if you say that, then Indiana Jones has no basis to Raiders of the Lost Ark, because Indiana Jones plays no role in the outcome of the story. If he weren't in the film, it would turn out exactly the same way. If he weren't in the movie, the Nazis would still have found the Ark, taken it to the island, opened it up, and died, just as they did.
Yes. And then because of Indiana Jones, it got put into a giant warehouse where it popped up in part 4, the movie that we all love. But
wait, was that a joke?
Yes, it was.
I was going to say, now we're going to be like, if you were really being serious about fucking Kingdom of the Lost Skull, I was going to kill you.
No. But and that has been pointed out. That was actually pointed out in The Big Bang Theory.
That's what
when Sheldon has his girlfriend watch it, and she points that out.
Right.
And Sheldon gets all frustrated with it because that's true. But the problem is Indiana Jones or Raiders of the Lost Ark is a well-written movie, and you can kind of get around that because a lot of the reasons they actually need Indiana Jones to get the Ark. Because if you remember, when the Nazi puts his hand up and it's in his hand, it's melted, he only has one side of that like necklace or talisman or whatever it is. He only has one side. It's Indiana Jones who figures out where to go.
Right.
So, and then that's when they get it. So the outcome, yes, would be different because Indiana Jones is tied to a stake or whatever it is. So is Marion. But in this, Billy serves no purpose. None, except to bring a legacy character back. And he looks like crap.
Into the life of a girl that we hadn't met yet. So she was tied to the movie now. She is now tied to she's now become a part of the legacy of Scream.
Okay, so what's the difference between her and Ronan?
Because that was bullshit.
Ronan's connected.
But
he talked to Billy, who then talked to Stu, and they worked it all out. So now we have Billy, who's Obi-Wan Kenobi apparently, and talks to her.
Right.
Yeah, it just, and even smiles at her near the end too.
Well, it was like a PTSD thing. I mean, it was more, not PTSD. It's a literal mental thing. She's schizophrenic or something.
From what?
Because she's mentally ill.
From what?
Who knows? Like, it's never.
You can't say that. You can only go on. You could do fan theories. You could do hypotheticals. You could do all that. You can only go off of what the writer and filmmaker.
What I'm saying is, she has pills. She has pills that she has to take, obviously, in order to not see this fucking guy that's there. There's issues. She has mental issues.
Why does she see him?
Because she
She doesn't know who he is.
She sees him.
She can't know who he is.
The whole thing that happened with her, everything that happened with her issues, right? Like, remember, she was snooping around. She found her mom's diary. She read it.
Right.
She looked at it. It said, "Oh my God, I slept with this guy. Now I'm pregnant with Billy Loomis."
Which is,
baby.
That's a whole other thing. So by him sleeping around and having a daughter negates everything that he talks about in the first film. So he says, Sydney, your mom's a whore. She strutted her shit around town. She ain't no Sharon Stone. This is some of the reasons she broke up 2 marriages. This is why Billy's doing all of this. So then for him, at that age, 17, let's say.
Right.
He was fucking other chicks.
Right.
So he's contradicting himself.
Yeah, it's a hypocritical fucking male douchebag character.
Not buying it. Once again,
I buy it.
Bad writing. You don't go kill somebody and then be a hypocrite like that.
It might be bad writing, but I believe it, and it's like I believe that it could have happened. I absolutely. And I believe that there could have been Ronan could have existed. I don't believe that he would be upset at his fucking mother for whatever. And that shit just bothered me, that he would do this just to kill fucking, like, it's just fucking, like, remember what I said before, that he was a fucking director. He had a life. He had like everything he wanted, and he was going to risk it all, so that he could kill the chick just because she had a mommy and he didn't, like, have his original mommy. He still grew up to be a fucking famous guy. Like, that's just, that to me.
Well, I mean, he's not really that famous. I mean, he works for like a Roger Corman type studio to the point where Roger Corman's even there. And then, and he's so paranoid about all this, which of course is fake. But that, Lance Hendrickson says, don't worry, this is good. There is no bad press. And Roman is like, oh, wait, you think this will let me get more roles?
Yeah.
And so he's obsessed or whatever it is, because much like Scream 4 with Jill, that Sydney is always in the news and that Sydney's getting all the press.
It's just
and so these people are just tired of her. But that doesn't...
That's just going to keep being the thing then, everybody's just going to, oh, poor, Sydney's always getting, except this movie, they actually loved Sydney, and they were very they were starstruck with Sydney pretty much. they were, like I thought that
They
was
were, but they were still going to kill her because that was supposed to be the premise of Stab 9.
my only, I guess. Okay, so the thing was, and we're never gonna agree on the fact that I don't mind the Billy situation. I don't like it. Like if they took out Billy, I would have been fine. I'm gonna agree with that. Like I would have been fine if Billy didn't exist in that thing. You know, um, but like I'm glad that it tied to the character. It had her tie to everything. So to me, it just made sense for like whatever. The other thing I have problems with was how easy Nev Campbell was, or Sidney Prescott was, to find out that her boyfriend was cheating on other people, and finding out that, you know what I mean, that he had a daughter, and like when she finds this out, she's like, "Hey, what's up? How are you doing?" Like that. I had a problem with that. When I watched it again, I was like, okay, now that I know like all of this stuff, like it just bothers me that she's so cool with the girl like that. Like I think she would still have a little bit of a residual anger toward her because, in a way it reminds her of how Billy fucked her, fucked somebody else while they were dating. She would still probably, that's my opinion.
Well, which goes back to me saying that everything that Billy talked about was hypocritical.
Right. Which would have pissed her off.
Yes. And it just, I mean, I don't like any of that stuff. I don't like the shrine of Randy. Why did we even have to have Randy in the movie at all? Why did we even have to have relatives of Randy? I don't think they look like Randy at all. I mean, they call him his uncle. And I mean, I look a little bit like my uncle.
They never
look a little bit like
met
my grandfather.
They never met Randy, right? I don't think.
No,
they
probably not.
They wouldn't have been alive.
No,
1998.
Probably not.
I don't think so.
So why is Randy so great? I get the joke of him being on the VHS tape in part 3 because they want to still get Jamie Kennedy in the movie, but it's like somehow. But for part 5, why is there this shrine there in everything? I thought that was kind of dumb.
It was dumb.
And I, even though I do like the idea of that the Stab films have gotten so bad that they're going to make their own, so then the next film is better, which kind of doesn't make sense anyways, because it's not like somebody is, nobody's made Columbine shooting into a movie.
Right.
Why would they automatically think that they're going to get Jill being famous? Sure, that I get. If it went to her plan, if that's worked out. But their idea that, oh, well, Scream 9 is going to be based off this, why would it be? I mean, I guess if they survived and sold their story to Hollywood, then it could be. Maybe. But and to bring up other stuff, like if you're looking at the ages of these people from part 4, okay, so Judy is now Sheriff Judy, and she has a kid. Where's that kid in part 4?
Well, I mean, so this goes back to your Scream 4 thing. If you're gonna say you can't see the kid, how do we not know she has a kid or not? Like, we don't need to know that. I just John Ward you.
No, because it's as Paul would say, it's what the script demands. Right. So you would think in Scream 4 that she would be like, oh wow, there's all these killings. Let me make sure that my baby is safe.
Why?
But because she never had a kid in part 4.
I'm saying, why would they need to have that in there?
Because logically it would make sense. It's just like in part 4. Okay, so in part 5, who is Nev Campbell's husband?
Mark. They mentioned Mark.
So we think it's Mark. Nev Campbell has even said she doesn't know it's Mark.
No, they say Mark. It's Mark.
They say Mark. They don't give his last name.
Yeah.
They say Mark. There's more than one Mark.
I understand.
So and when Nev Campbell was interviewed, she goes, oh, I didn't even put the two together. Right. So she's out doing some weird walk or jog, and it looks like she has twins or whatever it is, which in what she's pushing, it could be dogs. She could have 2 dogs in there or whatever. But if she's saying Mark is okay, then where is Mark in part 4?
Well, why do we need Mark in part 4?
Wouldn't Mark care if she's being stalked by Ghostface again?
Well, no, because she went to Woodsboro for the thing. She was getting stalked. There could have been a call or something, but there wasn't because there was no Mark. I get it. What I'm saying is this is stuff like the idea that, why when I asked where was the aunt the whole time, you said she could have been anywhere. It didn't matter. Everybody has an aunt. And part 4, when I talked about part 4. So the thing is, it doesn't, if we're going to go in your idea.
No, I think that's different. I think that's different. I think that if you got married to the cop that was in part 3 and you're being chased by Ghostface again in part 4, you would think you would call the cop that you're married to. So
maybe
why
she
not
wasn't
instead
married in part 4?
So maybe in part 5, don't call him Mark, call him Steve.
Well, okay,
how's Steve?
But why? Maybe she wasn't married in part 4. She has twins, babies. That could have been 2 years ago.
So she dated Mark in part 3, broke up with him during part 4,
maybe,
and then got back to him sometime in those 10 years between 4 and 5.
Yeah, maybe. We don't know.
But we can't say. But we don't know. We can't say that. So a lot of this doesn't make sense.
It was throwbacks to the movie so that people would,
It's fan fodder. It's fan fodder. That's all it is.
Or maybe they said Mark and it wasn't the same Mark. It's another Mark. We don't know.
It's very possible. But when you have all these people on YouTube and the internet and Facebook and everything going, oh, it's Mark from part 3.
Well, they don't know.
Then maybe don't use Mark.
They don't know.
Maybe use Mike.
They could have used Mike. They could have used Mark. Or it could be Mark. It could very well be Mark. Who knows? We won't find out till probably. We might never find out.
Look, I'm going to use my own stuff as an example. In Aximus, you have the guy that runs the storage facility who's dating Sarah, Ashley. Right. And his brother is John, who plays the killer Santa Claus. Okay. Mm-hmm. Dylan and John are 2 very different ages. So in part 2, Ben Stober makes the joke, didn't you ever wonder why their ages were so different? I'm the middle brother. Now, in no time in part 1 of Aximus did I ever say, they have a brother, a middle brother.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to, because it wasn't thought of until part 2. But I give a reason for why he wasn't there. He cleaned up the bodies. He says he's the middle brother. He gives reasons. In this, nobody says, how's Mark? I'm surprised Mark didn't come with you, seeing that he's an ex-cop or whatever it is. Don't you think you would want a cop there if that is the Mark? From part 3.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was a throwaway line, man. I mean, as you said, even Ned Campbell didn't realize it, so it wasn't.
So it may or may not be. It could just be fan theories or whatever it is.
Yeah, we don't know. And we won't know unless they decide, okay, the fans are right, we'll make it Mark. And then they explain it in the next one. So if you're saying, if what happens, then whoever's directing and writing Scream 5, whether it be the same people,
same guys, will be the
same people. If you guys come back, you have to explain that this is, you have to.
And I hope not.
And you hope it's a different Mark. You hope it's a different Mark, and it's somebody else, like or whatever. I mean, it's if the script requires it to be McDreamy,
then yeah, bring him back.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't require him, then don't do it, because then all you do is have Halloween Kills.
Right.
And Halloween Kills is garbage compared to Halloween 2018. It's every person who had issues with plot holes in Halloween 2016, they tried to answer those plot holes, and it made the film 100 minutes instead of 90 minutes. None of those plot holes truly mattered. I actually found it more interesting. And it's pointless to talk, because they weren't even satisfying. So it's just, to me, it's bad writing. There's no excuses. There's no, oh, well, Mark was in Australia, at a cop conference, and that's why he wasn't there. Well, it's not said in the script.
Right. Once again, it's probably there was a throwaway line. They wanted to throw back to part 3, because a lot of it is a throwback to part 3. You have what's her name? You have was it Randy's Randy's sister. You have that family, which we just said. I agree with you on this, that whole thing was stupid. It was just a way to throw in Randy's family and make a shrine to Randy for whatever reason. Maybe because they were fans of Randy, the guys who made it, and they wanted to honor him in some way or whatever. And, and then you have, but it's a throwback. So that was part 3. Then you have this character, the character of Mark as so, which is funny that they throw back to the one movie almost everybody hates.
Right. Well, that I will agree. Yeah.
Almost everybody hates that movie. So it's funny that they would throw back to that. But it was probably a throwaway line and a throwback to part 3. So it was stupid and dumb and probably, but once again, they left it Mark, where they could have another Mark. It could be some guy named Mark.
It could be a totally different person.
It could be a famous actor named Mark.
It could be. It could be. I mean, it's possible. Maybe it's a totally different guy. They just didn't think about it. They just said, "Oh, his name is Mark." We don't know. I mean, that's. But Mark was used, I think, for a reason. A bigger problem, I think, is Stu's house to kind of move forward with this.
Well, also,
so why wouldn't people know that it's Stu's house?
Oh, they did know. Remember that one girl said she was happy and excited when her parents bought it. Because she knew
when she found out it was Stu's house.
I think she
with the amount of people that died there, they probably would have torn it down. Or you have to, a realtor actually has to tell you if there is a murder inside a house or if somebody died in it.
Right.
So that's actually the law.
Now, you might know this more than I would, but really, they would have to destroy the house if people had died in it? I don't know if that's necessarily true. Oh, no. I'm not saying it's a law. I'm saying they probably would have. I think if that many people were murdered in it, they probably would have torn it down. I would have thought they would make it, this sounds morbid, but I think I would have thought they'd make it into like some kind of museum. Like this is like what started the stab movies, is this house, so like I would have thought that they would have left it.
Well, that's a possibility.
But
I mean, that somebody would buy it and make it a tourist attraction.
See, sure. That would have been cool.
But the girl didn't realize it was Stu's house until later.
That would have been a cool twist if it got turned into, thing. I don't know how they would have worked out people going there, but like maybe, that's, I don't know, I mean, like they would have somehow brought them to that house and it's a tourist attraction where people are pretending to get killed, like in the fucking, like a haunted house kind of thing.
It's possible like something like that is, could be made up. Sure. Yeah. It would be, distasteful, but sure. But it's like none of these people, except for the legacy people, realized that was Stu's house. And the one girl, Randy's niece, it said that when she realized it was Stu's house, That's when she got obsessed.
No,
But
it wasn't.
how? I mean,
No. Randy's niece wasn't the one. Are you sure? Because Randy's niece was the black girl.
who's the
right?
relative?
The relative. What? What relative? There is a relative of Stu, but he dies in the fucking alley or whatever. He's that jerk off. He's like, that was how he got connected to the whole
What?
thing. You don't remember that? Yeah. Stu's like nephew or something was the jerk that like was stalking that girl in the beginning of the movie, and he got killed. I'm right about that. Yeah. That was that guy.
I am so lost on what you're saying. Who related to Stu?
You just said what? Who is related to him? You know, when you're saying
No, Randy.
well, Randy, the girl who's related was the two mixed characters. You know,
The twins, which doesn't make sense because they're the wrong. Their ethnicity would be wrong, but. Yeah, so she's the killer, right?
No, what? No, the killer was the other girl. The Amber was the killer. You know, the one that actually she was obsessed with it, and she was the white girl who was
right. Okay. So I'm mistaken on that, but she's the one who's living in the house.
Yeah, and she was obsessed with it.
So
that's why
she
calls
said
the one guy or whatever.
When I found out about it, I became obsessed.
Yeah.
So, but why wouldn't everybody know this is the house of 1,000 deaths or whatever they would call it?
Because
everybody in that area would know that is the house of death.
Right. But they're fucking kids, you know? They're going to go party. They don't give a fuck where they party at.
They would know this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Somebody would go, did you know your parents bought the house that all the murders happened in?
Well, everybody would know. Maybe somebody did, but we didn't see it on camera, and we don't need to see it on camera because we hear it later when they mention it. You know?
Because it's a cheat. It's a cheat that they give the audience, and it's a nice shot where the camera spins, and we go outside and we see that it's Stu's house because we don't notice it. But everybody that's at the party, everybody in town would know that's Stu's house because that's where all those people were murdered.
So you're saying you wanted a line in there where they said, you know, did you know this before we got the big reveal?
Yeah, I mean, probably, Sydney and Gail wouldn't know until the GPS said something.
Right.
Which they do say, like, oh, shit, this is Stu's house. But everybody there would know that this is the murder house. So somebody, probably should have said something. You know, like the camera would track by and be like, oh, man, did you know that there were murders here? Something like that. But it's a cheat because the filmmakers wanted you to not know where they were.
I liked that. I don't know. I dug that. I don't know. And I dug it was Stu's house. I don't know. I fucking thought it was a cool thing.
I don't mind that it's Stu's house, but it's a cheat. It's a cheat for the script.
It might be a cheat, but it's a cheat that I completely liked. And when that reveal happened, I was like, oh shit, we're back in fucking Stu's house. I got excited. I don't know. They're exactly.
It's only because nobody knew where they were, I guess.
I know,
even though it should be all over the place.
We should have known as Scream fans. We should have known, like, wow, this looks very familiar. This looks like Stu's house. It was Stu's house.
But I'm not saying the fans. I'm saying the characters in the movie.
But even the characters in the movie, even if they did know and probably said something to somebody, you know, like, what are they going to go?
You can't say that. But you can't say that because it's not in the script.
Yeah, but why do you need it? Because what difference is it?
Because it's a cheat. The writers cheated.
I'm just saying they're going to party there no matter what. They're going to party there no matter what, especially since we just saw
somebody would say something.
Scream 4 had a scene where they're all watching Stabathon while there's a fucking killer dressed around as Ghostface. we're showing that they're showing that there are characters, that the characters are completely becoming ridiculously dumb as they get older. And I mean, as they get, the younger characters are becoming, as we get older, you're becoming ridiculous because, like, you know, as adults, we would go, why would we go to a party where people have been murdered while there are fucking murders happening in this town? That makes no sense.
Because they have murder houses. There was a whole show about it where people were selling murder houses.
Right. But would you party at a murder house during a part where every stab has, you know, even the stab movies all end with party scenes where everybody gets murdered? They talk about that stuff. So
maybe it's I guess it depends on what it is. But the thing is, my point is that I don't care what the characters, I care what the writers of the film are doing.
right.
And the writers are cheating it. The Sixth Sense, good movie, biggest cheat possible, possible cheat is when Bruce Willis and the kid's mom are sitting across the hall from one another and not saying anything. Now, M. Night wrote that to make it look like they'd ended a conversation. They're just waiting for the son to come home. When it doesn't make any sense. Because when you watch it on a second viewing, why would Bruce Willis not be going, why can't nobody hear me? Why can't anybody see me? Why can't I get on this bus? I'm a ghost. So it doesn't make sense. But that one shot of Bruce Willis and the mom together is the cheat to the audience to tell you that he's not a ghost. And it was a well done cheat because you don't realize it until you watch it on a second viewing. But it's still a cheat. So even saying, My Bloody Valentine 3D has a cheat like that.
Right. I'm sure there's cheats all over the place, but I just think, I don't know. I didn't mind it. Like, I didn't mind the cheat at all. I liked it because once again, it got me hyped up going, oh shit, this is Stu's house, you know, and after watching it the second time, it still fucking, you know, made me happy. You know, I didn't think to myself at all, even with you bringing it up, it doesn't bother me because I'm just like, you know, them not saying anything, you know, whatever. You know, when people see that scene, they're going to go, oh crap, we're at Stu's house. This is going to get awesome. And that's what happened, you know, to me.
And that's perfectly fine. I'm as someone once said to me, I'm only letting you know that you're wrong.
Hey, look,
and trying to correct that.
Hey, you can correct my feelings on being wrong. I'm gonna keep telling you that I don't care. I enjoyed it and it did not bother me.
And that's fine. You and I had our disagreements with part 4 where I felt things were perfectly fine, like the ending, and you didn't. And that's perfectly fine. So it's a friendly debate. But I'm not looking at this from the film's point of view. I'm looking at this from a filmmaker's point of view,
or writer's point of view.
And to me, that's
well,
I mean, the filmmakers have a lot to do with that. You know, the director and stuff, or directors, had a lot to do with that type of thing because there weren't those types of problems in their previous film. But they wanted that reveal of Stu's house. Mm-hmm. They wanted it because it spins. So they obviously knew what they wanted to do with that camera.
They wanted to,
and that's fine.
Yeah.
They wanted to give us the surprise. They wanted us to go, oh shit. And they did. Otherwise the film wouldn't have made so much money. I'm just pointing out that it doesn't make sense that that it seems like people don't know that this is a murder house.
So what you're saying is you would have loved a scene where they had introduced that it was Stu's house, did that whole cool scene beforehand, then had somebody go, you know, did you know that somebody had died here, you know, or whatever, so that we can establish that the characters know that there's been murders at Stu's house. And then we could just go on with our lives?
Yes and no. I think that probably would have given away something, but so maybe as people are leaving or whatever it is, once we find out that it's Stu's house, I don't know. I really don't know how you would get around that without not telling the audience.
Yeah,
where
we
didn't
even know that girl owned that. Oh, actually, we did know. We did know it was her house. We knew it was Amber's house. So lived there. So we should have probably known she was the killer, because she was living in Stu's house. We didn't. I mean, I didn't. I didn't guess her
Like,
at all.
why wouldn't Sam know that house?
She probably would, but that doesn't necessarily mean she has to say something.
I mean, she'd probably walk up to it and be like, "Oh fuck, that's the murder house." I mean, in all four, well, I should say in the Psycho series, starting from part 2 on, everybody knows of the Bates Motel. Everybody knows what Norman did. Everybody.
How long do you remember? I mean, because I know you saw it twice as well, right?
Yeah.
You saw it twice. But do you remember Amber saying when she actually when her parents bought the house, how old was she or something? How long ago? Because what I'm wondering is if she's lived there ever since she was a kid or whatever, and she got obsessed with it when she was younger, Sam would have known that she moved into that house. She would have probably known that's the movie that's the house that Stab, that created Stab 1, that was in Stab 1 or whatever, and then she would have said, she would have always known that. So it wouldn't have probably bothered her to go in there because she wouldn't have thought that Amber would be capable of doing all of this.
I'm gonna make. I just want to make sure I'm blanking on her name. Where is she? Okay, Bella Thorne. Okay, Amityville: The Awakening. She has no idea what house she's in. None. Until people, because she just moved into it with her mom and her brother's disabled. And then she goes to high school and there's the 2 people that she hangs out with there. And the guy says, "You know where you live, right? You live in the Amityville house." Because the Amityville horror happened. And she's like, "What's the Amityville? What's I have no idea what that is." And then he plays her the movies. So I can understand if somebody doesn't know horror films. I mean, I've brought this up to people where I'll sit there and say, "Oh, did you see Halloween?" And they'll be like, I don't know what Halloween is. Because they just don't watch horror movies. They don't care.
I doubt
they watch rom-coms.
I doubt anybody ever says that for Halloween because everybody knows Halloween.
Okay, I've never seen one or something. It's right, just I've never
maybe
watched
that,
Halloween.
Maybe that, but they know of it.
I mean, my Ashley, my actress in Actress 1 and 2, does not watch horror films, which is why we put the joke in that when she makes the Die Hard reference, and Donna Hamlin goes, "How many Die Hards have you seen?" And she goes, "I don't know, maybe 1." She has absolutely no idea really what the films are. So right. in Amityville: The Awakening, I can buy that she doesn't know what that house is. And the guy has to tell her what it is. And that's what I think probably should have happened in this. That somebody would know, somebody at school would probably tell the daughter, "Your house is a murder house."
Well, I would disagree, but I haven't seen Amityville Awakening or whatever, but I would disagree that when we talked about earlier that somebody would have probably disclosed the information, right? That the realtor would have probably said people died in this house, and this is sort of a big name. Like people don't buy the the Full House without knowing that it was in fucking Full House, like that's what I mean? Like, what I mean? Like nobody does that. Nobody goes, "You know what? I want to go buy this house." And then people go, you just bought like a famous fucking house, like everybody knows that house in San Francisco. I don't even know if it's in San Francisco, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it is.
What, Stu's house? No, it's
no, I'm talking. No. I'm talking about the Full House. But what I'm saying is nobody buys that house without knowing the legacy of it, period. So yes.
According to the daughter, she did not know.
Who?
Until later.
What?
The killer.
No, Amber.
I don't know. Amber.
But she was a kid.
She said, when I moved in, when my parents bought the house,
right,
and then I found out what it was, I became obsessed with it.
Which she probably found it out when they bought it.
But it's a known house.
Right.
That's my point. They wouldn't have bought the house and then she find out
Maybe
the house would be known.
Maybe her parents were obsessed with the Stab movies. I don't know.
I doubt it. I highly doubt that.
Maybe
it's just okay. But here's my thing. And I'm sorry if this comes off the wrong way, because this is a general statement. People don't look at this type of stuff. They don't look in it as, if you're a filmmaker, as a filmmaker, you look at it as a fan. And you look at it from the outside instead of looking at it from the inside out. So people just accept things. Like everybody talking about how great Texas Chainsaw Massacre is. It's not. It's a poorly written movie. You can like it. Mm-hmm. That's fine. You can like Scream. That's fine. But you shouldn't make excuses for bad writing or bad filmmaking. When I hear people say that Wes Craven would be proud of this movie, no, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't have. He might have lied, like James Cameron said he was proud of Terminator Genesis because he got a little bit of this. And then when he got the rights back to Terminator and it had something to do with Dark Fate, and he's like, oh yeah, great film, absolutely. And then it tanked, and then he distanced himself from it. So if anything, Scream 5, Wes Craven probably would have said, yes, I'm proud of this movie. But he may not have even liked it because he has to say it because he's being paid by the studio to say it.
Right.
It's not wrong for people to say that something is bad and enjoy it. But if you're a filmmaker, you should be looking at writing, directing, editing, sound design, all of that stuff.
I look at the thing as that this was fun. This was enjoyable. I liked it. I didn't mind half the stuff that you really did not like. That did not bother me at all. Even watching it a second time after you told me you didn't like these things, I went in thinking about it and I was like, I still don't give a fuck. It's still a fun movie. It's enjoyable.
And that's fine.
And the characters are fun and enjoyable. The other thing that we were talking about is we both also agree on one thing very much, which is Dewey should not have died by the hands of the girl. We think he should have died by the hands of the guy.
It's a good scene. I thought that's the scene that kind of brought me back up in the theater. It's well shot. It's well lit. It's well edited. I like Dewey going back, even though he could have shot the person to begin with. But I like all that. I like the casings falling on the floor. I like all that. But yes, there is no way, even with Dewey's disability, that a girl that is her size would be able to take him on.
And she definitely looked taller than she actually was. Like whoever played that character, the ghost face, I don't think was actually her size, and stuff. So
it was probably a stunt person who played it. Yeah.
Which was probably a bigger person anyway. And there was a couple deaths. I just kind of, I disbelieve that they could have happened with the certain people, or whatever. However, and I love that it was the boyfriend, because when you watch Scream 2, you think it's, when I first watched Scream 2, I was like, oh God, they're going to bring the boyfriend thing back. Right. And it's going to be fucking Jerry O'Connell as the killer. And then they set it up and it looked like it was Jerry O'Connell, like for most of the, right. Like he looked like he could be the killer. They gave a lot of red herrings. Then he wasn't. So then the third movie, she didn't have a boyfriend, Fourth movie, she didn't have a boyfriend. So there was no love interest thing. And Jill had a boyfriend. So I guess there was that, in part 4. But in part 5, there was clearly the boyfriend that was in the picture and stuff. And you were like, oh, for a while I thought, oh my God, it could be him. And they gave a couple of fake outs. And I was, I was like, damn it, I should have caught it. Still should have been like, it's the boyfriend still. But, I liked it. Like, I don't know. I enjoy this movie. yes, could those things that you said, could have that made it better, or something, or, you know, maybe, I mean, it wouldn't have changed my feelings on it, either way. If they took out, everything with Billy, would she have still been a strong character? Maybe, probably not, you know, because you didn't think she
Why
was
not?
strong. She still wasn't a strong character to you, period. You didn't think she was a strong character.
Just make her a strong character.
That's true.
The, the
But
the the little sister was a strong character from beginning to end.
she should have been more of the main person, maybe.
I mean, when the lead actress is going like, don't mess with a serial killer's daughter, and then she kind of, really,
That line was that
really,
line. I didn't like how some of these lines, like, generally speaking, when somebody's speaking and everything, you can just go cut them. Like, when they talk, they're taking time away from attacking you. You can just go.
well, they want to give her the line. They want to give her the line, like with the Sydney always had her ending lines, when she shot the person.
Well,
So they want to give her a line.
but was it in the first movie, Gail shoots Billy and then says, "I remember the." After she's done shooting him, she was like, "I remember the safety time that, that one bitch, or whatever, So, like, the lines can happen after the attack, Like, it would have been great if she attacked him and then said, "Don't mess with the serial killer's, daughter," and everything like that. That would have been great.
It's nice that she's accepting a serial killer. That's okay. And I'm going to bring up that meme that Dustin Hubbard had up there, where Randy's niece is looking right at her and saying, "Hey, yeah, your grandmother killed my uncle." So don't you think that would be also a little bit of a problem? We'd be like, wait a minute, if Billy is your father, then that makes the woman from part 2 your grandmother.
No,
Didn't and she killed,
the only thing I disagree with on that is nobody in that group at that certain time, where the grandmother or the mother, whatever, Brandy's sister came in, nobody but Amber actually, and the love interest, and Dewey. There's the only 3 that actually knew that the Billy connection. Everybody else didn't know that. They didn't know that at that time. So that's the only problem with that meme.
Well, I mean, it's a funny meme, and it's true, and it's probably now that she knows it.
There might be some issues. There might be some issues if there's more talk about, oh, you're Billy, but remember, that was a secret, and the only difference was that he said that the Amber said that she was the mother was a whore or something, which brought back to Sydney. Sydney's mother was a whore who flashed her tits all over town like she was Sharon Stone or something. Like, there was that shit together, right? Both of them.
It's kind of. I mean, it's kind of like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. So when Laurie finds out that she's related to Michael, then people in that should have gone like, wait a minute, like the sheriff probably be like, wait a second, and then of course you have the friend that survived, where it's like, wait a second, so you're related to the guy who stabbed the shit out of me and almost killed me.
Right.
It's kind of
be, and that,
no,
like,
but you would have some issues with that. I mean, if you had a brother who killed my dog, I don't think I would really want to hang out much. It's like, well, I'm not my brother. I didn't kill your dog. Well, you're kind of related to the guy who killed my dog.
Well, yeah, okay, I get that a little bit, but it's still, I don't know. Especially if they were best friends for so long, maybe they wouldn't, like, that's not just an easy thing to go, you know what? I've been friends with you for so long, but your brother killed my dog. Like, screw you, man. Like, I wouldn't be like that. I would go, well, don't you fucking get near my next dog. That's, like, I don't know. It's, I'm arguing
I
this,
just think
and
things can be better. I think things can be better written. That's all. I just think that they try to do these type of things and it doesn't work. At least it doesn't work for me. And I'm in the minority. Okay.
No, you're not. Actually, you're not.
I am in the minority because okay, I'm one of the few people out there who liked Matrix Resurrections. I thought it was well written. I thought it was a good movie. I liked it. But I didn't like Spider-Man No Way Home. I thought it was a lazy mess.
Yeah.
I didn't like Scream. I thought it had a lot of problems. You know, I'm not a fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre because I thought it was poorly written, even though it has its moments and it's beautifully shot. I mean, I do think it's hilarious seeing Leatherface out there in like a sunflower field. I think is quite hilarious. But I don't know. Maybe it's me. I don't know. I look at stuff like writing. I look at all this type of stuff.
Hey, look,
and people are talking about with like
your opinion.
Oh, I'm not apologizing.
Well,
it's just it's like I hear people talk about, oh my God, the effects in the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre are so good. It's CGI. It's CGI blood.
Right.
These aren't practical effects. At least most of them weren't. Oh, you know, it was mostly CGI.
Pretty cool gore. I don't know.
Don't complain about CGI blood in the future.
I don't complain about. I like CGI.
I don't mean
blood.
you. I'm saying you in general. In general. Don't people, people shouldn't complain like they have been.
Well, then hopefully they won't. But I think the people that don't complain about CGI that complain about CGI blood aren't the ones that are saying that they like the CGI blood. I just like me. I love CGI blood. I'm okay with it. I use it in my own fucking shit, so I don't have any problem with it. I don't, especially if I can't get the fucking blood to get going. I had a short I just did. We tried, and something fucking happened when we were doing the actual practical effects. The hose did not work. We couldn't figure it out. And it wasn't like it was literally an issue with the hose and we could not get another one. So we're like, you know what? We're going to have to work around this and fix it up and maybe use some CGI blood if we have to, and that's what we're going to have to do. That's the thing. And
I don't necessarily have a problem with CGI blood. I actually like it when it's done well, but I just found it really funny that just a lot of people who criticize CGI blood, were going, oh my God, this was so bloody. Oh my God, this is so good.
Are you sure the people who criticize CGI blood are the same people that are saying?
Well, I can't give names, but it kind of seems like on Facebook when, looking at there and looking at some of the reviews that have been on, on YouTube, that people seem to have issue when it comes to CGI blood. But then maybe if you can't notice it, because this was done well, but clearly when the girl's head gets cut off at the end, that's CGI.
Yep.
So, and it didn't look that great. I mean, it looked okay. It looked fine. But this is when it gets back to, I think, with nostalgia and people want to like Scream. People want to like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They want to like Spider-Man. They want to like these things. And so in their brain, they force themselves almost, without knowing it, to like these things. Well, because with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you're going to find, I bet in like 2 years or whatever, people are going to be going, yeah, that wasn't as good as I thought it was.
These movies are made for an audience that pretty much just turns their brain off, of it. They want.
That's sad.
Well, that's fine. To me, a lot of times that's what I want when I go to a movie, because I just want to just go to a place and just get, just zone out and enjoy the movie and not have to think about, all the shit that's, whatever. And so I usually don't. And I'm not regretting that at all. That's, most reason why you probably don't like Marvel movies anyway, in general, because a lot of it is shut your brain off and just enjoy the movie.
No, I like everything from Endgame back. I like all that stuff. I don't like stuff after Endgame because Disney has more of an influence. And granted, I have not watched the TV shows, but I have watched reviews and people talk about them. And I don't care. I think Black Widow was a huge mistake to make when they did. They should have done it earlier. And there's certain things that I just,
I still enjoyed the movie. I just rewatched it recently, and I was like, it's there's things that I don't like about it, like the fact that Black Widow is not a superhero. She's not a super soldier
And
or
she can
anything.
fall like 10
And she can
stories
fall
and
and
fall
and
off of a
and, and
dumpster and be
bang
fine.
into herself, or she could go whatever, and she gets up without a limp. Yes, I think that shit's ridiculous. But I'm just like, okay, you know what? She is a superhero in some way or another, and I just let it go. Let it go at that.
I just want good writing. That's all it is. I just want writing that makes sense. And you can, even with all the flaws that like Nightmare on Elm Street have and Friday the 13th and all that stuff, there seemed to be an effort to put out decent writing. There seemed to be,
Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake.
Not counting that. No, because that has the flaw of these films of today. Right. That falls into the category of like the remake of Friday the 13th and stuff. That's how far back this goes.
Don't you dare. Nope. I will fight you on the Friday the 13th reboot. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Yep. That's a big thing with me. I will say yeah, sorry, man. I go, I started attacking.
Okay, maybe we should do a review on that one. I enjoyed the film. I liked it. I like that there's tunnels underneath Camp Crystal Lake, which explains why Jason moves around so quickly and all that. But as far as it, being a great film, I would rather watch any of the other Friday the 13th over that one.
Even Jason Goes to Hell? Sorry,
maybe.
I know a lot of people.
Maybe.
It's one of those films that I like it. I like it a lot, actually. I like Jason Goes to Hell. But a lot of people hate that movie so much. It gets a lot of.
I'm a little mixed on it, but it's different, and just like Jason X is different. But it's I think that. But see, even in Nightmare on Elm Street with the remake of that, so they put that twist in that he was innocent.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do this to the kids, and then they find out later on that he did.
Right.
What the twist ruined everything because it doesn't make sense.
All right, we'll have to do that at some point. Definitely Mainstream Monday. Get ready. There will be a Friday the 13th reboot discussion, because I do want to discuss that with you, because I think and it'll be a good chance for me to rewatch it, because it's been a while. But I remember I saw that in the theater, and then I saw it.
I enjoyed it.
I
own it.
And I absolutely love that movie. And is it better? It's better than Part 5. I mean, I will say Part 5 is like my least.
Oh, now those are fighting words. No. I like Part 5 quite a bit. It's when they try to do these twists and they just don't work. Even as much as I love My Bloody Valentine 3D, when they're in the mind and one of the characters is in kind of like this cell, and he's stuck in there, and he's looking out the bars, and then Henry Warden comes up and looks him straight in the eyes, and this guy's the killer, and this is the imaginary Harry Warden. It's a cheat. It doesn't work, because it's only there for the audience to think that this guy is not the killer.
Right.
It's a cheat. And that's the only thing I don't like about that remake is that one scene.
You don't like cheats. I get it.
No, but you have to when you're switching that thing. Like in My Bloody Valentine 3D, they switched the killer. Axel's not the killer anymore.
Right.
It made perfect sense in the first film, but now that we're switching it, how do we make people know that the guy who's not Axel, the guy who comes back to town who failed, is not the killer? Oh, well, we have to have him stand behind these bars, and he imagines Harry Warden coming at him. But it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
It's just there for the audience.
All right. Anyway, I know I'm really excited to hear your rankings for 1 through 5 of Scream. Sorry, we're like we've been talking for like more than an hour already on this, and so I don't want and we're going off topic as well, like we do. And so I just wanted to kind of bring it back in, but I want to say that I think we're going to wrap it up and say that we just like, I love that we disagree. I called us, was it Siskel and Ebert in the last one? I think it's fun that we disagree because, you can't change my mind. I'm sorry, but that's fine. I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm trying to prove my point, and I think that this is what we'll talk about in the ranking too. About our feelings and our things. So, thank you, John. Yes.
Thank you.
So, thank you, John, and thank you guys for checking this out. Join us next, next week? Good Lord. Where we'll be talking about our rankings of what we say Scream 1 through 5, I guess 1 through Scream 2022. What our feelings are and what we think are the better ones. So thank you guys for checking this out, and join us soon. So
Bye.
bye.